A social media strategy that absolutely crushes it for gambling promotion in the USA could completely fall flat in Asia. So the big question is, where should iGaming operators actually be placing their bets in 2025? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really insightful, data-driven guide from Altenar to find those winning social media platforms one region at a time.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the new challenges everyone's facing on social media. Then we're going to do a deep dive, region by region, Europe, the US, Latin America, and Asia. After that, we'll pull it all together into a global playbook and finish up by looking at the crucial difference between promoting casinos versus sportsbooks.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The thing is, the rules for promoting gambling on social media, they're changing faster than ever. The old playbook, well, it's pretty much useless now.
And this is the question every single operator needs to be asking themselves right now. Because just relying on the old strategy of, buying a bunch of paid ads, that's just not a sure thing anymore. The whole landscape has become way more complex and honestly, pretty treacherous.
And here's exactly why. Operators are up against a perfect storm. You've got tighter platform restrictions, AI moderators that are totally unpredictable, and ads that just, poof, vanish overnight with no warning. Throw in the fact that organic reach is tanking, and it's crystal clear the old ways just don't cut it. The only way forward is to get smarter, using influencers and building actual communities to stay in the game.
Now, here's what's really fascinating about this analysis. It's the core metric they use to rank these platforms. It's not just about who has the most eyeballs, right? It's about something they call gambling friendliness. This basically measures how tolerant a platform's policies are towards gambling content, and let me tell you, it is the most critical factor for success.
And this table, wow, it really shows you just how crucial that metric is. Just look at the weighting here. Gambling friendliness makes up a whopping 40% of a platform's total score. Think about that. That means a platform's policies are literally twice as important as how many users it has. It's not about how many people are on the platform, it's about whether you can even talk to them.
All right, time for our first regional deep dive. Let's see how this all plays out on the ground, starting with the complex and, let's be honest, very varied market of Europe.
And right away, these results might actually surprise you. In Europe, look what's at the top. Private messaging apps. Telegram is leading the pack with an 8.2. So why is that? Well, it's because its open policies and the ability to create these private channels for direct player engagement let operators basically sidestep a lot of the advertising headaches you find on other platforms.
So the big takeaway for any operator in Europe is that you need a blended strategy. Absolutely, use platforms like Facebook for your big, pre-approved paid campaigns. But for keeping your players around and really nurturing those VIPs, you have to use the direct, private channels you get with WhatsApp and Telegram.
Okay, now let's hop across the Atlantic to the USA, where it's a totally different story. Over here, Facebook is the undisputed king with a solid 7.4. And its secret weapon? It's that invaluable state-by-state geo-targeting. In a market that's all chopped up by different state laws, that tool is an absolute must-have.
Being successful in the US market really means you have to master two different games at the same time. On one hand, you've got to absolutely nail your geo-targeting on Facebook and Instagram to run compliant ads only in the states where it's legal. And on the other hand, you have to get creative with influencers and clever content to even get a foothold on platforms like TikTok and Snapchat, where direct gambling ads are just a no-go.
All right, moving on. The strategic differences become even more stark as we head into Latin America and Asia. In these regions, you've got local platforms and really unique user behaviors that create a whole new set of opportunities and challenges.
So in Latin America, the top of the chart looks pretty familiar, right? You've got Facebook and WhatsApp leading the charge. But the real story here is a bit further down the list. See that? The rise of regional players like Kwai. This short-form video app offers a way less restrictive environment for promotion compared to its global rival, TikTok. So the winning playbook in Latin America is all about combining the massive scale of mainstream platforms for your paid ads with the power of hyper-local community engagement. And WhatsApp? I mean, it's not just a messaging app there. It's a primary tool for building entire communities and running private promotions. And finally, we land in Asia, which is, without a doubt, the most complex landscape of all. Yeah, Facebook does well in certain markets like India and Thailand, but the real power, that lies with the regional super apps. We're talking about platforms like WeChat in China and Line in Japan. They are absolutely essential, but they operate under such heavy censorship that direct promotion is incredibly difficult.
Look, to thrive in Asia, you have to just completely throw out the idea of a single unified strategy. It won't work. Success there demands a hyper-localized approach that deeply respects not only the local culture, but also the incredibly strict regulations, which can be wildly different from one country to the next.
Whew. Okay, after that whirlwind world tour, let's zoom back out for a second. What does this all mean when you put it together? It's time to build a global playbook using everything we've just learned. So, if we just average all the scores, yeah, Facebook looks like the global winner. But that number is honestly pretty misleading. As we've just seen, its dominance is anything but universal. In a lot of key markets, if you rely only on Facebook, you're making a losing bet.
And that brings us to what is probably the single most important takeaway from this entire explainer. A one-size-fits-all approach is just doomed to fail. It's that simple. You have to align your strategy with regional trends, with platform policies, and with your specific advertising goals.
A really powerful way to think about this is to give each platform a specific job to do. So, for reliable, targeted paid ads, you're looking at Facebook and Instagram. For player retention and taking care of your VIPs, that's a job for the direct, community-driven power of WhatsApp and Telegram. And for building brand awareness with viral content, you turn to TikTok and Twitter/X.
But hold on, there's one last absolutely critical layer to add to our strategy. Because the product you're actually promoting, whether it's a sportsbook or an online casino, well, that changes everything about which platform you should be using.
And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. Sportsbooks are all about that real-time, in-the-moment engagement. They belong on platforms like Twitter, where you can fire off live odds and get discussions going during a match. Casino promotion, though, that's a whole different game. It's all about entertainment, it's visual, so it absolutely thrives on platforms like YouTube and TikTok with things like slot reviews and influencer gameplay videos.
So what does this all boil down to? It's this. There is no single best social media platform for gambling promotion. It just doesn't exist. There is only the best platform for your unique mix of product, your target region, and your specific business goals.
So this data gives us a really powerful snapshot for planning out 2025. But remember, the platforms, their policies, their algorithms, they are always moving, always changing. The real challenge, then, isn't just about picking the right platform for today. It's about building a strategy that's agile enough to adapt, to evolve, and to keep on winning tomorrow.